Hey everybody, and welcome to our holiday blitz, 30 holiday projects in 30 days, and this is day 1. And so today we're going to be talking about creating multiples. As it is our holiday season, we're all wanting to probably make our own handmade cards to send out to our loved ones this season. So this is the card that we are going to create today. It is a great card for making multiples, and I'm going to share with you 4 tips along as we go here. Okay, so tip number 1 is you want to be careful in the type of card that you design. So when designing your cards, you want it simple. Now, to help me make this simple, I have gone ahead and decided to use the note cards and envelopes. So these come into a pack of 20 for about $12.25. Which works out to be about 60 cents a card base. So they're already pre-scored for you in everything. So that is going to save you a ton of time when it comes to making multiple cards. The other thing you want to do is, or the question that a lot of people ask, is to use a sentiment or not. So you might want to have a sentiment on the front that I've got here. You might want to have something on the inside stamped. There are many different ways that you can add your sentiment. Right here I have done mine as a stamped sentiment. You could do a die cut. You could do a mixture of a stamp and a die cut. You could do a punch. You can do whatever fancies you. You can do like a sticker, a rub-on, or you can completely leave a sentiment off altogether. But I've just done a little one called Season's Greetings. And I have got my sentiment from this stamp set here called the Itty Bitty Christmas. This is a great stamp set for sentiments to use on your greeting cards. They're all so small, and there's so many different holiday greetings that you can use. So that's what I've used for our sentiment for today. Now the other thing is the elements. You want to keep it plain and simple. So all I've done is gone ahead and used our tree punch, my tree punch here. And basically I've gone ahead and punched out some tree images. Okay, now this paper here is from our Designer Series paper stacks. This one is actually the Call Me Clover, which is from our In Color collection. Now you can always use the ones out of your Regals collection where you've got Garden Green, you've got Shaded Spruce, there's Old Olive there. And I was able to get 6 tree cutouts from one sheet of 6x6. So the beauty of this brings me to our 3rd tip, which is variation. That if you run out of an element, there are other ways you can get around it. Not everyone's going to know what your original card looked like, okay? They're just going to have what the card was that you had received. And so therefore the beauty of this is you can change the pattern of the tree. It's not going to matter. Okay, it's still going to be a cute little card. See, I've just put a different tree pattern on top of that there. And it's just a different shade of green. So use up all the supplies that you have. So you're not buying one pack of Designer Series paper just to use one sheet of paper, okay? You want to be able to maximize the stock that you're using. The other thing I've done here, there really isn't any other embellishments or bling on here. I've just got a little simple staple, and everything is just been stuck down except for my tree's got a bit of dimension on it. So this is really quick and easy. Okay, so this brings me to our 4th tip, which is to create your assembly line. So here's my card bases. I've got my real red cardstock right here. Now this piece does measure 3.5 by 2 7/8 of an inch. Then I've got some Sahara sand cardstock, and this measures 2.5 by 3 1/4. I have my little white pieces here to put my greeting on, which is measures 2 3/4 by 1/2 an inch. I've got my little gold pieces as well out of my gold glimmer paper, just to add a bit of bling. Okay, this was a cheaper option than adding something like rhinestones or embellishments, especially when you're making multiples. You don't want to cost you the arm and a leg. So these pieces measures 2 3/4 by just slightly under 1/2 an inch, so 3/8 of an inch. Okay, there's those. And then I have my trees, which I've cut out of my designer series paper. Now to make these simple, super easy, I've gone ahead and put my dimensionals on the back of those. So I'm just going to go ahead and finish putting dimensionals on the back of the rest of my trees, and then we'll be back. Okay, so I've now finished adding my dimensionals to the back of my trees. That is going to help big time when it comes to actually assembling all my cards together. Now the next thing I want to do ahead of time here before we get to assembly is stamp my greetings. Now I've got my greeting here already mounted to my clear block. I'm using the Seasons Greetings, and I'm going to stamp all of this in Real Red ink. Now the best thing about doing each of these little elements individually is that if I was off to a sporting event or sitting in front of the TV or something, I can quickly grab this out and start assembling or doing these little elements bit by bit as we go along. So I am going to go ahead now. Oops, that didn't work. That's why we've got two sides of piece of paper to everything, and stamp all my greetings. And let's see how fast we can do this, hey? Okay, there we have it. All our greetings are now being pre-stamped. Okay, that's another element done. So this isn't taking very long at all for us to put this card together. Now, I've actually, on this one here, I've added a couple little fishtails to my greeting as well as my glimmer paper. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. That's the next part of my assembly line. So let's do that. Okay, so we now have our little flags and everything ready, and I'm umming and ahhing whether I might staple these now, but I might do those. You know what? Let's staple these now. So all you need is a standard stapler. I've got a little one here, and I'm going to have my greeting on top, and I'm just going to put a stapler on the back, on the side here, and that's what's going to hold those together. Okay, so now let's go ahead and staple everything together. Okay, all our stapling's done. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to adhere our Sahara sand to our Real Red, and we're simply going to stick this with an equal border around all four sides. So I've got my snail adhesive here, and let's now assemble these together. There you have it. We have our matting for our card base, we have our greeting, and we have our embellishment or our element that we're going to add. And it's all being done when it suits you, okay? So don't think you have to do it all at once. But now we're actually ready to assemble our card. So here are my card bases. Now I can go ahead and fold and score these. I like to use a bone folder still to make those all nice and flat. Even though it has already been scored. Okay, now let's put our card together. So we've got our card base going here, but what I might do is I actually might stick my tree on. Take off my Stampin' Dimensionals. I can stick my tree. And I'm going to use liquid adhesive behind my greeting just because it's such a thin piece. I don't want my snail getting stuck on the outside of it and making it all sticky. Okay, so let's set that aside, hey? Let's move all this. Let's do that again. Actually, you know what? Let's just stick the trees on first. That'll make it faster, won't it? Okay, so our trees are now stuck to our mat. So let's now adhere our greetings. I'm just going to use some liquid adhesive just because it's too thin to use my snail. Okay, here they are all assembled, and now it's simply a matter of just adding these elements straight on in the center of our card front. And once again, I'm going to use liquid adhesive only because I don't want to squash all those elements using snail on top. And there we have it. We have created our 10 Christmas cards using our mass producing or making multiple formula, and it seemed to work really well. That was so quick to make, and I hope you have fun this holiday season creating your Christmas cards. Until next time, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more updates and project tutorials, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Holiday Blitz project tutorial. Bye for now.
Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.